Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Sunday Conversation here on Big Country Politics. I'm Manny Diaz. This week, our special guest is a candidate and who's also a current member of the Abilene Wiley ISD School Board, Mr. Cameron Wiley. Cameron, thanks so much for hanging out with us
Thanks
today.
for having me, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, well, you're seeking a second term, which we'll get into that.
Yes, sir.
You're also a member of. You're soon to be a retired member of the United States Air Force. So,
That's right.
Thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the issues. For those who may not know who Cameron Wiley is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, like you said, I'm about 30 days from retiring, but who's counting, right? I mean, it's not like I had that countdown on my phone or anything like that. But, we've been here in Abilene, me and my wife. My wife's a teacher, an educator, also at Wiley West Junior High. We've got two girls, one that's about to graduate and one that's a 9-year-old. And, we're all originally from Arlington, Texas, born and raised there. Like you said, almost 20 years in the military, joined right out of high school, went and served overseas for a couple of years in 2004 and moved to Las Vegas, served a couple of years there. I was a recruiter for 7 years. 3 of those were in East Texas and Athens, Texas, and then another 4 was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So my career kind of went 360, started in Arlington, ended up being back in Arlington, met my wife, started our family, and we moved down here 7 years later. So we've been here ever since. Well,
this week you filed to run for your second term as a member of the Wiley ISD School Board. Well, why seek another term?
When I originally decided to do this, it was. I think I was just trying to give back in a different way, and not fully understanding that there's some things that you don't really know until you get into that seat, in an elected position. And as I got in there, the challenges that we faced, it was so rewarding, and I just enjoyed every single bit of the 3 years so far that I've been a part of. I've learned a lot. Definitely not perfect, but I've learned so much in those 3 years on how to work with our administration, make the lives of our teachers, our staff better, make our community proud of our district, and most importantly, make sure the kids are learning and having just a great atmosphere. So I'm doing another term. I feel like I've got a good groove going right now, and I've learned a lot, and I know, if I don't know the answer, I know where to go get it. And just the love I have for this community it's magnetic, and I just want to keep giving back to that.
Yeah. Well, Wiley's growth has been absolutely tremendous over the last 10 to 15 years. Just the move to Class 5A. Mm-hmm. How has Wiley ISD been able to keep up with the growth of South Abilene and certainly, the Wiley area?
Sure. I think a lot of that is going to be attributed to our administration. We've got some. Our superintendent, Mr. Light, and all of our staff and principals and administration and our teachers have really, done as best as they can with what we've got to address that growth, and like you said, it's been so fast. And I think you don't see that just within Wiley and just within Abilene, but you see that statewide across all the districts, particularly down the 35 corridor. But here locally, we've tried to, when you have that growth, you can't stop it, right? I mean, the kids are coming, and we've got to find classrooms to put them in. We've got to hire more staff to teach and all that good stuff. And so we've done as much as we could before we asked the community for a little bit of help. But we're attacking those now. I mean, I think this has been something we've been addressing for the last 5 to 7 years now. And I think I feel that we are definitely on the right track to make sure that any growth, even any potentially more growth that could be happening, we're being very proactive with addressing that.
Cameron, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, more with candidate and incumbent there in the Abilene Wiley ISD School Board, Cameron Wiley. We're talking more of the issues along with a special issue that's surrounding education in Texas. That and more right here in Big Country Politics.
Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
Well, welcome back to Big Country Politics. Our special guest this week is Cameron Wiley. He is a current member of the Wiley ISD School Board and is an incumbent candidate seeking his second term. Cameron, back in November, voters in the Wiley area welcomed $240 million in upgrades to the district via Propositions A and C, but blocking one proposition, Proposition B, a $29 million ask that would have given upgrades to Hugh Sandifer Stadium along with the construction of a new community event center. Tell me, do you envision the district revisiting a proposition similar to Prop B, and how creative does the school district have to get to accomplish this?
It's hard to tell in terms of revisiting it as another proposition and an ask in the future, but right now I don't think that's going to be in our cards for now. The voters have spoken and our community has spoken, and they approved what they felt we needed, and they didn't approve what they felt that we didn't need at the time, and we want to respect that. As a school board, as our administration, we want to be good stewards of that decision from our community, and we're going to roll with what they approved for us, that $240 million, which is so amazing for our district. It's historic ask, but we're very, very much appreciative of that. And we've already gotten going. I mean, we've broken ground on some projects already. I mean, we're moving. And so in terms of the needs that still are there at Hugh Sandifer, we're talking our concession stands, our restrooms, bigger locker rooms. Those are really the big needs that was incorporated with Prop C. But we're going to have to find more creative ways to address that while still being good stewards of our taxpayer dollars and are good, respectful of that vote. But finding ways to handle it in house, and we're in discussions on trying to take care of that now. Propositions
A and C were approved, allowing for the expansion of the high school, a new elementary school, safety and security, along with the student and teacher technology services. This is part of a number of different things. Tell me, how has the school district been able to implement these bond approvals since November? Yeah, so I think as soon as we got approval and we found the results of the bond, I mean, we had plans in place, just in case, whether it was approved and whether it was not approved, we were looking at our options either way. And so when the voters did approve those two bonds, we kind of knew what we wanted to start first, and there was a domino effect that needed to happen with our projects. For example, we've broken ground on our 12-court tennis court facility, and that needed to be first because we're going to tear down the current tennis courts, build the new ag facility, and then we'll tear down the old one. And so there's a lot of dominoes that have to fall there. But there are also projects that we've been able to start that coincides with the high school. We've been able to purchase our student teacher devices. I kind of laugh because when I was going around talking to teachers, and like I said, my wife's an educator, one of the top 3 things that every one of them said was like, we want one-to-one. We want student teacher devices. And we were able to go ahead and do that. And our technology department pulled the trigger right away. And it's funny because they actually arrived, all of them, like 3,600 of them arrived at one time, probably within a month of them ordering. And so that was definitely unexpected. But we've been able to really get them unboxed and, roll those out to some of our campuses already. So some teachers are actually using those now. But we hope to have them all fielded throughout the district here in the next several weeks. And so we're really excited about that. I know the teachers are looking at our new elementary, getting some land for that. So there's some we're rocking and rolling. And I think that's important for our community to see that now that they've approved it for us, that we're going with these projects and we're getting some ground broken. Mm-hmm. School choice has been a major topic in Texas. What has been the response from the folks in the Wiley area regarding this issue?
So, for me personally, I haven't heard too much about it. I know, we talk about school choice and vouchers, and the reality is, as a parent, we've always had that choice. You know what I mean? We could choose to pull our kids out of a school and get them to a private school or get them to a charter school, whatever it may be. And so, but the fact is that does take tax dollars away from our public education. And seeing how, over 95% of the children in the state of Texas attend public education, that's important. Every dollar counts. especially with the growth that you're seeing across the state. You know, we need every penny of that to increase our infrastructure, to hire teachers, to retain teachers. You know, it's across the country, there's a teacher shortage, but we got to make sure we're taking care of them as best we can. And so, you know, when you talk about vouchers and pulling tax dollars away from public education, that's pretty hard pill to swallow, in my opinion. And calling it school choice when we've always had a choice, you know, we gotta be honest. It's just you're pulling from public education.
Well, in 3 years on the Wiley ISD School Board, what have been some of the biggest challenges you've seen? And if reelected, how do you intend on securing solutions, or what's needed for solutions?
Well, I think we kind of talked about it a minute ago. You know, the growth has been the challenging part of that. You know, our community has blessed us with this bond to really address those issues. You know, for the first 2 years, you know, the conversation has always been about, you know, the high school is full. What are we going to do with that? You know, you talk about portables, and I mean, the kids are coming, and we got to find a place to put them. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. And so making sure that our students are getting, that our students continue to have a positive learning environment, our teachers are as happy as we can make them. You know, that's been a challenge because when you talk about addressing growth, it covers all of that. It's not just kids showing up. It's, okay, kids are here, we need more classrooms. Okay, we got more classrooms, we need more teachers. Okay, and so all that kind of plays into addressing growth. And oh, by the way, there's only so much, you know, pie to eat. There's only, you know, we're talking about budgets and trying to figure out how to run this district and adequately without breaking the bank, and again, being good stewards of those taxpayer dollars. And so I think now that we've gotten that boost from our community through the bond, then the next challenge is making sure that we implement those like we said we're going to implement them, and that it does address all those issues that we were having and the reasons why we asked our community for those tax dollars. And so I feel very, very confident moving forward that we are going to be able to do that, not just for the foreseeable future, but for years to come.
Last question in about 30 seconds. Why should the voters in Wiley ISD reelect Cameron Wiley to the school board?
Because I love this place, man. I absolutely love this community. And like I said earlier, I haven't been perfect, but the love and passion I have for this community and what I've learned in these 3 years about, you know, public education, working so well with our administrators, working so well with my other 6 colleagues on the school board, I feel like we've built something here. We've built something here that is going to address those issues that we're facing, is going to tackle the growth, you know, growing pains that we're having. And we're on a roll right now, and I want to keep being a part of that. And like I said, just love this community, man. They've been the absolute best to myself and my family, and I want to give back.
Cameron, appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Manny. Appreciate it.
Alrighty. For Cameron Wiley, he is an incumbent candidate running or seeking his second term on the Wiley ISD School Board. I'm Manny Diaz. This has been another Sunday Conversation right here on Big Country Politics. We'll see you next time. God bless.